Hey everyone, welcome to the second installment of SCUBLA, the opportunity to have a decompression conversation with Joe and I and those of you that are joining the meeting today. So thank you very much for being here. Joe, good to see you.
Dave, good to see you here. An honor and privilege. Looking forward to today's decompression session and talking about some.
So our topic today has to do with reassessing goals because there's a lot of things that are changing, and we know, Joe, that your clients have been working with their roadmaps, their schedules and things like that, but there's stuff that happens, and so this need to reassess is something that is a reality. And there are key areas there, as you and I have talked about. One is that your personal goals are going to give you the why you go and do what you do in your business. Your business goals are going to really address the how you go about having what you need to have in the way of wherewithal to be able to satisfy your personal goals. And so both of these things need to be reviewed frequently. Is that a correct statement?
That is a correct statement, and even more frequently now, as we're going to talk about as we're moving forward.
Cool. Why do we need to reassess things? Because there's a lot of stuff that's changing all at one time. Market conditions, regulatory things. We have political activity that's going on. We're doing this the day after the elections. So there's lots of stuff that are changing in real time, and we have to be conscious of that, and you have to take that into consideration when you review and reassess your goals. Is it correct? Am I correct about that?
Well, yeah, and right now is one of those really interesting times with inflation being higher than it has been in years and years and years. So your cost of goods sold is probably going up. Your fixed costs, all of your costs are going up. So it needs to be reassessed. Your supply chain issues and not only the supply chain issues, but the inflation factor on top of the supply chain issues is going to cause some issues.
I know, and personnel are looking to get paid
raises.
More because
everybody wants to get paid more because, hey, a $5 foot long is now $12. I need to get a raise.
Right.
So a lot of my clients are saying, Joe, what do I do? People are asking for raises. My costs have gone up. My margins are shrinking. Well, we got to reassess everything and dive into that and see what's the best strategy for you, for your business, on where you're at today and where you want to go.
Exactly. And so when you talk about business goals, one of the things that comes up a lot is that they're almost always tied to some sort of financial overtone. I mean, there's something about the business activity that results in revenue or decreasing expenses or increasing profitability or net value or whatever.
Well, and if you're not making money, you're not going to be in business very long. So, it's all about, you've got to make money because, even a nonprofit has to turn a profit to stay in business. If you got more going out than coming in, you're not going to be in business. Nonprofit, for profit, doesn't matter. You've got to stay within your budget controls.
Right.
So as you're looking at your goals, the goals here, it's got some revenue goals, and they are SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, results-oriented, time-framed. Goal number 2 is a SMART goal. Goal number 3 is not, and that's a good example of a goal that needs to be revisited and make it SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, results-oriented, and time-framed. So to make that SMART, it would be implement a 401k by the end of the year. And goals are, they need to be reviewed on a regular basis.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about this one, because a lot of these things tie to money. And so where do you need to go to start looking and reassessing things to be able to make those determinations as to what has to happen?
So the first thing is the goal still valid? Is that, that 1 year goal, the 90-day goal, are those still applicable? And if so, do we need to change what we need to do to achieve them?
Okay.
So a lot of my clients right now, we're reviewing their pricing structure. Also what I call profit slicing. What's your most profitable products? Where's your time allocations, and how does that tie into achieving your goal? And then, as we're starting to evaluate these, we need to dive into the financials.
Right.
So let's dive into the financials.
And so one of the things you had mentioned to me the other day was that it's important to really do this on a sliding, a rolling scale. And so ideally it's a 12-month rolling scale so that you can see, comparatively how things are progressing.
Yeah, we call it the TTM, the trailing 12 months.
Okay.
So you're looking 12 months back and you're looking for trends on what's happening in the business. And this is why things must be done on an accrual basis, not on a cash basis. So on this one, if we're looking at this, wow, the total income line looks really good. It's nice and going up, and the gross profit looking great. What I do is I go right from the revenue to the net profit or the net ordinary income.
Okay.
I go straight down there and say, okay, how does that look? Well, if I want to increase my net ordinary income, well, we can start looking at some of these costs.
So in this example, we're seeing a company that's, that's doing really well, et cetera. And so these things are maybe reasonably well in balance. But the point is that you need to look at this and assess it, because it may not be that the net income is stable. It might be bouncing up and down and stuff like that. So you never know. You got to take a look at these things to evaluate that, correct?
And you have to go line by line.
Right.
There's no other way to do it. You need to go line. The first 2 or 3 times you do this, it usually takes an hour, hour and a half. And you might even want to go through it with your accountant and ask the questions when you see these bounces. Hey, I'm just going to pick one out here that says salaries. Well, we went from 60,000 to 171,000. Wow, that's line 1740. Wow. Well, yeah. Well, but our revenue increased, so we needed to add additional resources. So that makes sense.
So you can look at the numbers. The numbers are an indicator, and then you look at what's behind that to have cause this number to be the way it is. And it might be a negative situation that you have to reevaluate, which might cause you to want to reassess your goals. So when you reassess a goal, what are some of the things that you can do? I guess you can change the target date. You can change the target itself. You can change your the way you approach the goal. There's a variety of things that you can do, right?
Right. And every situation is unique or different, but you need to dive into that and say, hey, I've got to make money.
Right.
Because if you're not making money, you're not going to be in business very long.
Okay.
So what I like to do is, do I have a revenue issue, or do I have a cost issue, or do I have both?
Right.
And in this economic environment, I'm seeing some of both. Right now, if you've got some trend data for the last 3 or 4 years, you can incorporate that into your budgeting process.
The point is that you can plan for that once you have information that you can see the trend line. Now, one of the things I want to shift to a minute here, because one of the things you talk about, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier, that there may be a need to increase revenue, decrease expenses, or both. And when you talk about the need to increase revenue, people look at, how do I get more sales going in? And sometimes they think that I want to get more sales by decreasing my prices. I'll get more customers. Other times they're looking at, well, maybe we can just raise prices, but if I raise prices, I'm going to lose customers. How does that impact things?
You say, okay, well, I'm going to lower my prices to get in there. Well, some of the implications of that could be, if you discount your prices, let's just say you're running at a 20% margin, okay? And you discount your price by 10%, that means you've got to increase the number of businesses, the number of clients, your revenue by 100%. It means you got to double your business.
Got to double your sales activity. If you get 20% margin and you discount by 10%, you're going to have to sell twice as much in order to stay even.
That's right.
Saying?
That's right. And you know what? That's a lot more marketing.
Hard.
That's really hard. Now let's pretend we're going to increase our prices. Now, if you're running at a 20% margin and you increase your price by 10%, you can have 33% less business and have the same amount of margin.
33% less business and still make the same amount of money if you've raised your prices by 10%.
That's right.
So what do you say to those folks who say, yeah, but I'm afraid I'm going to lose customers? Why, you know?
Fantastic. You can lose 33% of them. And if you do it right, you lose the customers you don't want anyway. So when you go through your customer analysis and you go through the A, B, C, and D grading, which A are awesome clients, B are basic, C are can do without, and the D ones are the ones that cost you 80% of your resources and only give you 20% of the revenue, get rid of them. This is the perfect time. By raising your prices, you can actually get rid of some of those clients that you don't want anyway.
Chances are they will fall off naturally just because of that. You don't have to fire them, so to speak.
That this is a great strategy for getting rid of the clients you don't want. Keep raising the prices till they go away.
Got it. Cool. Well, this has been really cool, Joe. So I appreciate that we've had a chance to tell people about this.
The decompression community with the SCUBLA, the SCUBLA group. SCUBLA is self-contained, unique business learning apparatus, and we'll continue having these on a twice-a-month basis, and look forward to seeing everyone in a couple of weeks.